In this video, I'm going to teach you how to convert metric units of length, such as meters to centimeters. Meet Millie the Mite. She's a little red walnut swarming around in this magnifying glass. Let's call her MM for short. Now, Millie Mite has a bigger friend called Centipede Matt. He wriggles around on his leaf. Let's call him CM for short. But what Millie Mite doesn't realise is that her friend Centipede Matt eats 10 mites every day for breakfast. Very often, Centipede Matt likes to ride on the back of his bigger friend Moosey. Let's call Moosey M for short. One day, Centipede Matt asked his friends to come along to have a ride on Moosey. All 100 had so much fun riding on Moosey. Now, Moosey has a wicked nemesis called King Mammoth. He wanders around looking for Mooseys to eat and wrestling fights. Let's call King Mammoth KM for short. Now, it would take an army of 1,000 Mooseys to beat King Mammoth at a wrestling game. So, it's not easy. So, in summary, we have Millie the Mite, who we've called MM. We've called Centipede Matt, CM. We've called Moosey, who's much bigger, M. And King Mammoth, KM. Do you see where we're getting with this? Here we have millimeters, centimeters, meters and kilometers. It's important to try and visualize if the measurement, the metric measurement that we're looking at, is very, very small or very, very big. So I've tried to give you a visual representation of that measurement. So now, whenever you see MM, which stands for millimeters, you can think of Millie the Mite, the tiny little mite that you can barely see and you need a magnifying glass to have a look at her. And then, of course, a Centipede Matt is like a centimetre and it's the size of your little pinky finger. So that means that we know that M for Moosey is about the size of a metre. And King Mammoth, really large. So KM stands for kilo, which is 1,000 metres. In summary, there are 10 millimetres to 1 centimetre, and that's why I said that Centipede ate 10 millimites for breakfast. And there are 100 centimetres in 1 metre, which is why I mentioned that there were 100 centipedes riding on the back of the moose. And there are 1,000 metres in 1 kilometre, which is the reason why we needed an army of 1,000 moose to beat the mammoth. If you want to know how many millimetres there are in a metre, it's basically 10 times 100 centimetres, which is 1,000 millimetres in 1 metre. If you want to know how many centimetres in a kilometre, it would be 1,000 metres times 100 centimetres, which would make it 5 zeros, 100,000 centimetres in a kilometre. And how many millimetres would that be? Well, you just take that 100,000 times it by 10, so you get 1,000,000 millimetres in a kilometre. Now, one thing that always confuses people is to whether they should be multiplying or dividing when they're doing a conversion. So, for example, let's say we have to convert 800 metres into kilometres. So here you can see that 800 metres is like our moose, and we are converting it into kilometres, which is like our mammoth. So we are going from small to large. When we go from small to large, we divide, which means we'll be dividing 800 by 1,000. And if we wanted to convert 3 centimetres to millimetres, here we are going from centimetre to millimetre, which is like centipede to mite. And in this situation, we are doing a larger to a smaller, so big to small. So if it's big to small, we multiply. So we would do 3 times 10. Okay, so let's answer some questions. Here we have a reminder in the order of size, starting with millimetre being the smallest, then centimetre, then metre, then kilometre. And the measurements here, 10 millimeters equals to 1 centimeter, and 100 centimeters equals to a meter, and 1,000 meters is the same as 1 kilometer. So first question is 5 meters is equivalent to how many centimeters? So here we are looking from meters, which is here, to centimeters, which is here. So we are going from a larger measurement to a smaller one. So big to small means that we will multiply. And here we have 5, and we're going to multiply. And the conversion from meters and centimeters is 100. So we are multiplying by 100. So there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So there will be 500 centimeters in 5 meters. In question number 2, we have 35 centimeters is equivalent to how many millimeters? Again, we have centimeters going to millimeters. So a larger measurement to a smaller one. So big to small, we multiply. So we have here 35, and we're multiplying. So 10 millimeters make 1 centimeter. So we times that by 10, and 35 times 10 is 350 millimeters. In question 3, we have 87 kilometers, which is here, and we want to know how many meters that is. So we're going from big to small, we multiply. So we have 87, and we're going to multiply. There are 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. So in 87, it will be 87 times 1,000, which is 87,000 meters. In question number 4, 9 kilometers to centimeters. So we have kilometers to meters first, and then to centimeters. So going from larger to smaller, so large to small, we multiply. So we have 9 kilometers, and there are 1,000 meters in a kilometer, so we'll times that by 1,000 to get to meters. And then from meters to centimeters, there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter, so we're going to times that answer by 100 to get the answer into centimeters. And we can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So 9 times 1 is 9, and 5 zeros. Put a comma here. So that's 900,000 centimeters in 9 kilometers. So in question number 5, we have 5,000 meters. And how many kilometers would that be? So we're going from meters to kilometers. So we're going from a small to big. So here, small to big means we divide. So we have 5,000, and we're going to divide that by meters. So there are 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. So we divide by 1,000. So 5,000 divided by 1,000 is 5 kilometers. In question number 6, 980 centimeters, and we want to know how many meters that is. So we're going from small to big, we divide. So we will do 980, and we're going to divide. And there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter, so we divide by 100. And when we're dividing by 100, you move the decimal place by 2 places. So from the end, we'll go 1, 2. So the answer is 9.8 meters. And on this note, a reminder that I do have a video that teaches you how to multiply or divide by multiples of 10. I'll leave a link in the description below for you to go and check that video out if you're unsure. Moving on to question number 7, 1,500 millimeters to centimeters. Millimeters to centimeters is small to big, so we divide. So we divide 1,500 divided by, and there are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter, so we're dividing by 10. So we are moving this place over by 1, so we end up with 100 150 centimeters. And lastly, we have 100,000 centimeters, and we want to know how many kilometers that is. So we're going from small to larger to even larger. So we have 100,000, and we're going to divide, because small to large we divide. If we're converting from centimeters to kilometers, that's from here to here. So there are 100 centimeters in a meter and 1,000 meters in a kilometer. So 100 times 1,000 will give you how many centimeters there are in 1 kilometer. So 100 times 1,000 is 100,000. So we're dividing 100,000 by 100,000, which will give us 1 kilometer. So there are 100,000 centimeters in 1 kilometer. And that's the end of this video. I hope you really enjoyed that. I hope you learnt lots. If you do enjoy this video, please do share and like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.